Hey, so it's been, like a year or 12 since I have read anything out of this book. We've read the first 5 chapters. I just looked. It was March 24th when I posted chapter 5, so it's been a month. So if you're getting ready to watch this video, I'm going to really recommend you go back and look at least chapter 5 video before you go into this video for chapter 6. Let's see if I can do a quick little summary of chapter 5 for you just in case. So at this point, Shiloh has, Shiloh's the dog. The little boy has the dog. The dog has been hidden in the back with the fence, and he's trying to figure out he's already figured out how to keep him hid. He already knows that the dog's going to be quiet, and the only problem is he's just trying to figure out how to make sure he can feed the dog all the time without getting caught sneaking out. And then, Dad's talking to him about trying to make a little money. I think at some point the mean neighbor, the mean neighbor stops by. Judd Travers. Judd Travers shows up and he's looking for his dog, and he's saying next time I'm gonna break his legs. And basically just saying he needs to find his dog, and when he finds the dog, he's going to hurt the dog, which is good. Okay, so let me move this over. Alright, so chapter 6, Night in West Virginia is as dark as black can be. No car lights sweeping across my walls or ceiling like when I stay overnight with David Howard down and friendly. No street lamps shining in the windows, no lights from next door houses. Where I live, there ain't no street lamps at all, no house close enough to see from your windows. My eyes are open anyway. I stare up into the darkness of the living room, and the darkness stares back. I'm remembering how once, several years ago, when Ma bought milk chocolate rabbits one Easter for me and Dara Lynn. I'd finished eating mine, but Dara Lynn only took a nibble of hers every day or so, keeping it up on her dresser in its pink and yellow tinfoil, driving me nuts. And one day I just crept in there and ate off one of the rabbit's ears. Dara Lynn, of course, threw a fit, and when Ma asked me if I had done it, I said no. I could feel my cheeks and neck burning red. You ever do that before? I used to. You can always feel it in your cheeks that, I'm not really telling you the whole truth, sorry. Are you sure, Marty? She asked. I only nodded and left the room. It was the worst day of my life. About an hour later, she comes out on the porch where I was pushing myself slow in the swing and sat down beside me. You know, Marty, she said, Dara Lynn don't know who ate the ear off her candy rabbit, and I don't know who did it. Jesus knows. And right this very minute, Jesus is looking down with the saddest eyes on the person who ate that chocolate. The Bible says that the worst thing that can ever possibly happen to us is to be separated forever from God's love. I hope you'll keep that in mind. Man, Mama gave him a guilt trip, didn't he? I just swallowed and I didn't say anything, but before I went to bed, when Ma asked me again about that rabbit, I gulped and I said yes. And she made me get down on my knees and ask God's forgiveness, which wasn't so bad. I honestly felt better afterwards, but then she said that Jesus wanted me to go into the next room and tell Dara Lynn what I had done. And of course, Dara Lynn had a fit all over again. She threw a box of Crayolas at me and could have broke my nose. Called me a rotten, greedy pig. Well, if that made Jesus sad, I never said. I bet every last one of you with siblings has done something like that. Now, as I study the darkness in the room around me, I'm thinking about lies again. I hadn't lied to Judd Travers when I said I hadn't seen his dog in the yard today. That was the honest-to-God truth, because Shiloh hadn't been anywhere near our yard. But I also know that you can lie not only by what you say, but what you don't say. That's the truth. Oop, lost my spot. Nothing I told Judd was an outright lie, but what I'd kept inside myself made him think that I hadn't seen his dog at all. Jesus, I whisper finally, what you want me to do? Be 100% honest and carry that dog back to Judd so that one of your creatures can be kicked and starved all over again, or keep him here and fatten him up to glorify your creation? He's a good one, huh? Can explain anything. The question seemed to answer itself, and I'm pretty proud of that prayer. Repeat it to myself so to remember it in case I need to use it again. If Jesus is anything like the story cards from Sunday school make him out to be, he ain't the kind to want a thin little beagle to get hurt. The problem's more mixed up than that, though. I am lying to my folks as well. I'm not eating the leftover meatloaf I've put away. Every bit of food saved is money saved that could go to buy Daryl a new pair of sneakers, so Ma won't have to cut open the top of her old ones to give her toes more room. Every little bit of food wasted is money wasted. If we ever have the least little bit of money to spare that doesn't have to go for the care of Grandma Preston, first thing we all want is a telephone so we don't have to ride down to Doc Murphy's to use his. But the way I figure, if it's food from my own plate, I would have eaten myself but don't. What's the harm in that? Got a good point. Next morning when I get up to see Shiloh, I put his rope on his collar and I lead him to the other side of the hill again, out of sight of all but God. Then I let him go, and we race and tumble and laugh and roll. Excuse me. Stopping now and then just to lie in the clover, me on my back, Shiloh on his stomach, both of us panting and nuzzling each other. Don't know if Shiloh's getting more human or I'm getting to be more dog. If Jesus ever comes back to earth again, I'm thinking he'll come as a dog, because there isn't anything as humble or patient or loving or loyal as the dog I have in my arms right now. We eat our Sunday meal, but by late afternoon, storm clouds roll in and the rain beats down on the tin roof of our house, streaming down the window glass, making a small pond in the side yard. I can't help staring out the window at the far hill. Will Shiloh, can he even leap that fence to try and go somewhere where it's more dry? Is he smart enough to go under that lean-to I'd made for him? Have I built it right, away from the wind? What if he gets to howling? In 20 minutes, now we're back to like a normal class read aloud. I'm doing nothing but yawn. In 20 minutes, the rain stops though, and the sun comes out, and the birds start to sing again. All those worms oozing up through the wet mud. Woo. Shiloh stayed where he was, trusting me that where I put him was best, being quiet like he knows his life depends on it. Marty, Dad says, going outside with a rag to wipe off his Jeep. I saw Mrs. Howard yesterday, and she said David was back from Tennessee wanting to know when you boys could get together. She said David would like to come up here someday next week. Well, I like David Howard fine, but I sure don't want him up here. David likes that hill. He always wants to play there, and he's not afraid of snakes the way Daryl Lynn is. David, in fact, likes to go to the very top of that hill and then go running lickety-split down it, racing to see who's first to the fence at the bottom. He likes to climb the top of the trees there, too, and play lookout. Well, I'll go down to David's tomorrow, I say. I'd rather do that. Well, why not do both, Ma says, coming out to throw some mash to the hens. Mash to the hens. You've hardly seen any friends all summer, Marty. Why don't you go down to Friendly one afternoon and ask David to come up here another? Well, there's nothing much to do up here, I said, not knowing how else to answer. It was the wrong answer. Ma and Dad were just looking at me now. You said just the other day that you had plenty to do here, he tells me. Dad tells me, wringing out his rag at the pump. Lots for me to do, but not that much for David Howard, I say. A lie. A flat-out lie. Funny how one lie leads to another, and before you know it, your whole life can be a lie. That's the truth that you can use in real life, huh? I sit on the porch, swing later, not even bothering to push it, and listen to the table being set inside. What you figure's wrong with that boy, Lou? Dad's voice. Just being 11, I guess, Ma tells him. 11's a moody age. It was for me, anyway. You think that's all it is? Well, what pleases you one day don't please you at all the next. What more do you think it is? Don't think he's got that dog on his mind still, do you? 11's got about everything on its mind, Ma answers. And then the evening news comes on, and Darylyn and Becky come out to the porch, leaving the TV to Daddy. Darylyn's got the devil in her tonight. A little bit bored with summer, but not quite ready for school to start. Just for devilment, she plunks herself down beside me in that swing and starts doing everything I do. I sigh, she sighs. I rest my arms on my head, she does the same. Ooh, that drives me crazy. Gets Becky doing it too, both of them laughing to beat the band. I guess that's some kind of old expression that I don't know about. When I have my fill of this nonsense, I decide to go up the hill and see how Shiloh's doing. But as I go down off the porch, Darylyn gets up and makes as if to follow me. I stop. I'm looking to find me a snake stick, I say, as if to myself. I'm looking to find me a snake stick, Dare says. I don't pay her no mind at all. I just start walking along the edge of the yard, picking up a stick here, a stick there, Darylyn tagging along behind me. It's got to have the longest handle and a good strong fork on the end, I say, because that was the biggest, meanest snake I ever did see in my life. Darylyn stops dead still. She couldn't say all right if she tried, but she's not interested anymore in trying. What snake? She says. Snake I saw up on the hill this morning, I tell her. Must have been 4 or 5 feet long, just looking to wrap somebody's leg to wrap itself around. Darylyn didn't go no step farther. Becky don't even come off the porch. What you gonna do when you find it? Darylyn asked. Try to keep it from biting me first. Pick it up with my stick, second, put it in a sack and carry it clear up past the Shiloh schoolhouse and let it out in the woods there. I won't kill it unless I have to. Kill it, says Darylyn. Get your gun and blow its head off. You've been watching too much TV, Darylyn, I tell her. Even snakes got the right to live. I'm thinking how if I ever became a vet's helper, I got to take care of pet snakes too. That's how my mama said I used to want to be a vet, and then I found out I had to take care of spiders and snakes, and I decided I didn't want to do that. Next day, to head off David Howard from riding up from Friendly on his bike, I go down to see him. I tended to Shiloh first, taking a fistful of scrambled eggs left over from breakfast, a bit of bacon, and half a slice of whole wheat toast that I stuck in my jeans pocket. It's not enough for the dog, I know, but probably more than he'd get from Judd. It's not enough for me either. Sneaking off half my breakfast, lunch, and dinner for Shiloh like I'm doing means me going half hungry all the time. But if I eat extra, then it means Shiloh's costing us money we can't afford. I fill my pockets with wormy peaches before I set out for Friendly, biting off each piece, spitting it out in my hand, and picking out the worms before I put it back in my mouth. That's so gross. Ugh. It pleased me that Shiloh was sleeping in his lean-to when I had gotten up that morning. The ground was dry under there, and I had brought him some old gunny sacks from the shed for him to lie on, made it seem more like a bed to him, more like a home. The walk to Friendly takes a good long time unless I hitch a ride, and I'm not allowed to get in a car with somebody I don't know. But Dad being the mail carrier for this part of the county, I know most everybody who goes by. The first person to come along this day, though, is Judd Travers. When I hear the sound of a motor and turn to see his truck slowing down, I turn forward again and keep on walking, but he pulls up beside me. You want a lift? He sings out. No thanks, I say, almost there. Where are you going? I couldn't think fast enough to lie. David Howard's. Heck, boy, you ain't even halfway. Hop in. I know I don't have to unless I want, but if he's already suspicious about me, that'll only make it worse, so I get in. See my dog yet? First thing comes out of his mouth. I've been looking all over these roads, I tell him. No beagle. Well, I don't think he'd stick to the roads, Judd says. Not a dog as shy as him. Shy as a field mouse, except when he's around rabbits. That's what the man who sold him to me said, and he sure was right about that. How much did you pay for him, I asked. Got him cheap 'cause he's shy. $35, worth a lot more as a hunting dog, if I could just keep that animal home. You got to treat a dog good if you want him to stick around, I say, bold as brass. What do you know about it? Judd jerks his head in my direction. Then he turns the other way and spits his tobacco out the window. Ugh. You never even had a dog, did you? Well, I figure a dog's the same as a kid. You don't treat a kid right, he'll run off the first chance he gets, too. Judd laughs. Well, if that was true, I would have run away when I was 4. Far back as I can remember, Pa took the belt to me. Big old welts on my back so raw I could hardly put my shirt on. I stuck around. I didn't have any place else to go. I turned out, didn't I? Turned out high. How? The boldness in my chest is growing. Woo, taking up all the air. Doggone, he's brave. Now Judd sounds mad. You trying to be smart with me? No, just asking how you turned out. Somebody who was beat since he was 4. I feel sorry is what I feel. Judd was real quiet for a moment. The big old wad of tobacco in his cheek bobs up and down. Well, don't go wasting your sorry on me, he said. Nobody ever felt sorry for me, and I never felt sorry for nobody else. Sorry is something I can do without. I don't say nothing at all. We reached down the road where David Howard lives, and the truck slows down. Well, I can walk from here, I tell him. Thanks, and I get out. But as I come around the truck to cross the street, Judd leans out. Like I said, that dog's a shy one. Don't think you'll see much of him near the road, but you keep your eye out for him in the fields. That's where he'll be more than likely. You see him, all you got to do is whistle. That's what I teach him. I whistle, he comes to me, he gets fed. But he does something I don't like, I kick him clear to China. You see him, just whistle, and then you hang on to him and I'll come pick him up. You hear? I hear. I tell him and I keep walking.